conditions certainly assisted Carlton several weeks ago when they played Essendon. They didn't mind the wet, they adapted really well. Paul Roos, who do you like, Roosie, and why?
I actually like Sydney, but interesting, Tandy. Cruz has started on a wing with Casbolt in the ruck.
Casbolt's in the ruck, and there's a Barney on with Buddy. There's a Barney with Buddy.
Free kick.
And the free kick's been given to Casbolt. What an extraordinary start to this game. They're still fighting as Casbolt sends Carlton forward. The umpire's having a decent old chat. Parker can't get into the thick of things. Papley was there as well. Laidler back in the side, gets the hand pass out. Sydney steady towards Gary Rowan. Rowan in towards the middle. Now an opportunity for Jack to send them forward to Buddy Franklin. He's got it. Gives it back to the running Jack. He's got to get round onto his left foot. Can't do so at the moment. The door opens for Murphy. And now it's Carlton who's steady. Marchbank. Hurried kick. Wobbly old punt out of bounds on the full.
Isaac Heaney too, Brad, started in the middle of the ground. Yep. So he's obviously feeling good from last week, his first game.
Really big job this afternoon for this man, Callum Sinclair, who gives it off to the informed Lloyd. Casbolt will be the flyer coming in from the side. Couldn't take it cleanly. Now locked up just inside the 50. Petreski-Seaton did get the hand pass out. Beautiful pick up by Buddy. That was delightfully done and should result in the first score of the goal. Of the day it does, but it's only one behind.
Yeah, that was Grundy coming up from the fence.
I reckon he's thinking, I shouldn't be having the first shot today.
Yeah, you don't often see him up there.
Potentially an unlikely first goal scorer, but Heath Grundy couldn't convert from 30 out.
Shades of Rod Carter many years ago.
He had the tilt going as well.
He did.
I played on Rod Carter in my first game of AFL footy, Sandy.
That's right.
Here's Fisher, the youngster who's been so impressive. A wonderful goal on debut against the Suns a few weeks back.
How's the back of the head after that game, Roosie?
I didn't touch it, Moons.
This cruiser move, though, is going to be one to watch. I think he's got Zach Jones as his direct opponent, and he's playing outside on the wing at the minute.
Ball breaks for Carlton. Another inside 50 coming up for them. Laidler couldn't get there on the full. It missed Wiedering, and Laidler does tidy up against his former team. Mills is hit hard, and Laidler has to get it to Grundy, back where he does his best work. Inside defensive 50 to Smith. Sizes up the options. Good kick on the left to Sam Reid on a good lead ahead of Rowe. They can move it on to Jones. They go for Buddy in the middle, and the umpire's been bowled over there by Alex Silvani, who's out there to put a body on the Swans, not the umpire.
This is what's going to be important, because that's Cruz's man there, who ran off him too easily.
Good ball movement here. Kennedy can run on inside 50, and he's not done much better than Grundy. In fact, it's worse. It's out for a boundary throwing.
And I think the other thing, John, as we see the umpire getting bowled over in the middle. I was just going to say about Silvani, I'm not sure I'd want him all the way up there. I think if Buddy comes that far up, because we can see how open the forward line of Sydney is as their last two entries.
Cripps running with Kennedy will be interesting. Rowan couldn't take it cleanly. Doherty goes towards the defensive 50. That's a fabulous fly from Heaney. We know what he's capable of. And what a start for him. Thought about Buddy, but only momentarily. Now called to go. Buddy's at the back, and he might just give it to him. Well, they played with it in the end, and he kicks in towards the pocket. It was a poor kick. I think the target was for Reid. Hayward applied the tackle. Doherty got a hurried kick back towards the half-back line. And for the moment, the Navy Blues out of trouble with the boy in Silvani. Former Fremantle Docker. Goes to Wiedering.
Geez, you'd love to see this guy, Roosie and Jono, get his hands on the ball early. He's been pretty quiet the last couple of weeks. Started really well at the start of the year, playing that lead-up forward role. Just the last couple of weeks, just been a little bit quiet.
Short to Silvani.
And he goes again. What he's doing here is running back with Grundy and then just darting back to hit those short leads.
Wiedering gets it towards the 50. Tidied up by the Swans. They swing it out to Lloyd, who's averaging nearly 30 touches a game in 2017. Picks up Grundy again, getting plenty of ball early in this one, the Swans veteran. And here's Sinclair, who'll have to shoulder much of the ruck responsibility today. Naismith out for another couple of weeks, and Tippett, the late omission. Here's Buddy. 101st game at the G. His 100th was the grand final. The Swans back at this venue for the first time since losing that epic against the Dogs. Now Heaney. Waits for Buddy and gives it to him this time. And he can get a penetrating kick inside 50, looking for Rowan. And a good contest made by Silvani. Able to get the spoil in. And here's Charlie Curnow. Good run from Cade Simpson, presenting an option. Curnow trying to find him and does.
But Buddy's had 5 already, Jono. But if I'm Brendan Bolt, I'm not worried about the 5 that he's had at the moment, because they're all been up the ground and there's been no entries go to Buddy Franklin. So that's not a concern if I'm the Carlton coach at the moment.
Petrevski-Seton just with the outside of the boot. Knew where Doherty was. Everyone thought it was going to Simpson until the last second. Now they get it to Ed Curnow, and he can pump it inside 50. He just chips it looking for Cruiser. Good kick to his advantage as well.
Yeah, that's good work from Cruiser. He's pushed forward now, has that tall wingman, and this is what he's got to do. If he gets into those positions, it's a pretty smart lead. He's an excellent mark.
Just improving the angle, and then gives it away to Smets, who's back in the side this week. In towards full forward. Pressure on the Sydney defence. Mills has been superb. Towards Hanbury. Fisted away from him and taken over the line.
I think this is the second mark he went for, John. He went for one before on Jones on the other side of the ground. Didn't get it, but if he's going to play wing, he has to kick 3. If he's going to do that the whole game, which I doubt, but I reckon he's going to have to kick 3 goals if he plays wing.
I agree.
Sinclair getting in front of Casbolt. Jones defends. Interesting kick. Made it tough for Smith. He needs assistance and gets it. And then gets it back. Could have gone short to Jack, but finds Cunningham. Up towards centre wing. Reid needs a big day. And he's got it on the defensive side of centre wing. Just the one behind scored so far in this game. He gives it to Laidler. One of a number of changes made this week towards Hayward. Like the look of him, Ruzi.
Yeah, I like him. They love him up there, the Swans. I really rate the kid.
Williamson got it across. Oh, Simpson dropped. He normally would have taken with his eyes shut. Jones in trouble.
I think he might have had his eyes shut, Sandy.
Cripps gets it out. Very good. Cripps again. Calling for it is Curnow, and he's well spoiled. Opportunity now for Sydney to clear through Lewis Melican to Jones. Tight and tough, not very pretty, but Hayward goes for goal, and he gets the first one of the day.
It's amazing how drop mark just puts so much pressure on you. A really easy mark from Simpson there. Just there it is here. Let me check his eyes. I think he did have them shut, Sandy.
He was looking to run off, wasn't he? Straight away.
Yeah, he was
going.
He just took his eyes. But good pressure from Sydney, and this is going to be their trademark today if they're going to win this game. Really good, great spoil, fantastic spoil, good follow-up. And the kid Hayward, you mentioned before, Sandy, he's had an ability to kick crucial goals.
Yeah, just 18 years of age, Will Hayward. 5 games, 6 goals already, a real eye for goal. He kept them in that game against the West Coast a few weeks back, and he's really exceptional with his finishing. The teenager, probably ahead of expectations right now. Free kick paid to Carlton, an advantage for Bryce Gibbs. Playing with the long sleeves today, and he took his eye off it as well. Graham this time left it behind, and might have got a free kick for in the back, but Smith turned him over, and Cruiser drops it. An attack of the dropsies.
They might have been practicing that at training during the week.
Another one.
Curnow, they've got him as well. Change the ball, please.
If they were, they've perfected it.
Well, Nick Graham down here, guys, just before the centre bounce, is having a little bit of a fight with Nick Smith and giving it to him. And I think Nick Smith just reminded him right then that he just dropped the easiest of marks.
And now it's Cruiser against Reid in the ruck. Rose, the late inclusion, gets a clearance for the Swans. And now Rowe. Heard the shout from Marchbank. He's drilled by Hewitt. Nowhere to go. Good tackle.
Sydney are first over, next in the contest at the moment. Carlton are just trailing in behind. They can't afford to do that. They need to outnumber at the contest as much as possible with the dangerous players Sydney have at ground level.
Bottom 2 in the comp for contested possessions across the opening 5 rounds. Hewitt trying to get one there. Curnow brings it out. Extracted it well. Little torpedo. Goes out of bounds on the full.
It's going to be a big day for Cruiser. He has to play wing and ruck. And we're just seeing come off the ground now, so he's going to be doing a lot of running if that's his role for the day.
Gibbs off the ground to Casbolt. Murphy going past. 53 metres out. Kick's got to be good here for Wiedering. He's got to beat a couple. Laidler. with plenty of support. They should be able to bring it out towards Rowan and Cunningham. Cunningham now with an opportunity after missing it up early. Once again, the Blues tucked in the pocket. It's short. Petrevski-Seton takes the mark, 35 out.
Excellent work, Sandy, from Mark Murphy, the skipper. He was involved here on this side of the 50. Ball went in with his kick, then he worked to the other side of the 50 to get involved again. That's the hard running the skipper needs to do, and he's helped set up this opportunity for goal.
15 gone, that's your angle.
2 goals so far this season from Petrevski-Seton. Hasn't missed a game. Looks pretty good off the boot. And he's got his first. And Carlton have got their first. They trail by a point. Now let's go back. Before the opening bounce, have a look at this at the top of your screen. Buddy and Silvani having a little how do you do, and that is what prompted the Blue.
Oh, look at him come, Sandy.
They came from everywhere. The umpire remained, or one umpire, the main umpire remained in the middle, the controlling umpire, and Buddy he was fending off.
You know what? 5 of them still couldn't put Buddy on the ground.
So more checks will be written, no doubt, this week.
That wasn't too bad. Surely not.
No. As we go back to the centre, Sam Reid having a run for Sydney.
It was a fair welcome for Silvani on his Carlton debut, of course, the former Docker. Reid got over the top of Casbolt, but I think Casbolt won it for Gibbs. And here's Fisher out. Good claim. And Jones managed to get the tackle applied. Kick didn't go too far. Now the Swans should be out. Cunningham, Heaney, Lloyd, and back to Cunningham. A run and bounce through the centre of the MCG, and it's too short for Buddy. He left it behind for Rowe. And they're set upon. Hewitt again is tackling well, leading the way in that department for the Swans. Early on, he got Silvani in the centre circle.
I like what John Longmire's done with his midfield too. He's got more speed in there with Heaney. Brandon Jack was in the last one. Zach Jones on a wing.
Pick from Parker. Didn't find a teammate. It's tidied up by White. The runner got in the road there. Umpire's happy with it. And on the up for Doherty, who leads the comp in kicks. That time he finds Melican. Made his debut last week, an impressive one with 3 intercept marks. Swans defensive coach Henry Playfair liked what he saw from the first game up. That's not a great kick into the corridor, but Smith able to track it down. And now they can get out of there. Kick again doesn't find its mark. Hayward couldn't get it on the half volley. No one can find a clean possession at the moment. Graham tries to invent one. But Williamson streaming through there, and that should be bottled up. That time it's Newman applying the tackle.
It's like a wet weather game at the moment, isn't it? Drop marks, fumbles, poor kicks. I don't know how slippery that ground is, but it seems like the ball's very wet at the moment.
Did have a couple of showers in the half hour prior to the opening bounce as Jones leaves the half back line and heads towards the centre wing. Buddy and Rowe will see it over the line. Crowd of around 26, 27,000 perhaps here at the MCG this afternoon.
We'll file that one away. See how you go, Sandy. On
Loyal Sydney
Pick the crowd.
supporters like to get here when they're playing in Melbourne, which is great to see. And they may have a contest on their hands this afternoon. Doherty as the switch is on for Carlton. Thought about White, but elects to go short to Rowe.
That's the one now they've got to find back into the corridor because everyone's spread to this side of the ground. They need midfielders and high forwards to work into that 45 kick to open the ground up for themselves.
Back to Doherty, who's found Silvani.
Geez, this guy here, Sandy, has worked 150 metres from the other side of the ground, went on a huge lead, didn't get it, and then he's led again. His work rate today is phenomenal.
Well, Wiedering's locked up there. All he can do is find Gibbs short. He's having a good season.
That's a better kick.
As is Murphy, that is better. Now they're a chance to go into White in the middle. Plays on, and finally out to Murphy. Now they've got players loose if they can pick them. Marchbank has, the kick was good. Now they go in towards inside 50, and the mark is taken for Carlton there by Charlie Curnow. Can kick a ball, Charlie. Well, he did too. Straight into the man on the mark. They get you every time, and there's going to be a free kick going against the Blues.
I'd love to see players these days that far out take the man on the mark. Everyone jumps now, Roosie.
Yeah,
Take
they
him
do.
on.
Yep.
Here's Newman.
Old Boom Mojave used to do that a fair bit.
Lloyd again. And Sinclair. He's got one to kick to down the line if he wants to use him. Eventually sees Papley, who was camouflaged for a moment from Sinclair. And he's got no one to kick to.
They're both similar offensive styles at the moment, aren't they? They're sort of trying to get an inside 45 kick to get their offense going, but both defences have shut that kick down 9 times out of 10. So it's become a stop kick mark game.
Papley has to go down the line as a result and hope Sinclair can break even. Hayward got up as well, and now the numbers for the Blues. Doherty, he leads the comp in kicks, as I said. He's already had 8 in this game in the opening quarter. Getting plenty in the defensive 50. Now Marchbank. And here's Graham. First game of the season for Graham, who's been getting 35 touches or so in the twos. Demanding selection.
And here's this style again. So what you're trying to get here is a little kick and then an overlap handball. But as I said, both defences have done really well at forcing kicks down the line.
Murphy read it well off the pack. Fisher's got no one to kick to, has to pull it back inside. The angle didn't favour him. Mark not taken by the Swans. Wiedering gets down at ground level, tried to slap it out to his captain. And that's a nice move from Newman. Good user, as Roosie said, on that left boot of his. Gets it back again and finds the target in Kennedy. Thought about the quick offload to Buddy. Looks for Melican instead, who takes it one-handed in the centre of the MCG like a slipper in December. And now Lloyd looking for the right entry. Plenty of Swans in there. Eventually he hangs it up. One to attack for Gary Rowan. Good body on him from White. And they'll see it across the line.
As I said before, Buddy's playing very high up the ground. He's had a fair bit of the ball, but when that kick went inside 50, Buddy was lateral to the kicker and obviously no chance to have any impact inside the forward 50. So I think Brendan Bolton wouldn't be unhappy where Franklin's playing his game at the moment.
Just about every player in 1/3 of the ground at the moment. Very congested as Papley goes to ground. Just his 3rd game, Tom Papley, since coming back from injury. A bit of a rough trot after a wonderful year last year. Cruiser wins it, but again taken over the line. Cade Simpson. What a player he's been for Carlton over the years. 270th game for Mr. Reliable. Cruiser again. Eventually got a fist to it. Poked it down in front. Gibbs steals it. Tumbles it back towards centre wing. Smith, an effective spoil from behind, was good for Sydney, but Carlton finish up with the footy. Graham's kick, however, was partly smothered. Now an opportunity for Lloyd. Gets the hand pass away. An opportunity once again for Melican. He goes in towards the middle. May go back to Melican. No, in fact, the hand pass went over the top. It came from Newman. They're inside 50 once again, Sydney. Where's Buddy? He's still in the square, but it matters not because Hewitt has taken the mark and he'll have a shot 35 out, 45-degree angle.
Jake Lloyd's having some sort of first quarter. His work rate's unbelievable. 8 kicks, every one of them has hit the target so far. So in a quarter where we've seen plenty of fumbles, he's one player that is standing tall, using the ball effectively.
He's had a darn good season so far. Jono is averaging over 30 disposals a game as Hewitt comes in now, favouring the drop punt, and he misses to the near side. 2-point ball game. Sydney leading in a low-scoring Dow struggle on this wintry Melbourne day. White takes the kick in the back pocket.
Yeah, that exceptional smother from Nick Smith comes to naught there with Hewitt unable to convert. And the Blues down the line looking for Cruiser or Casbolt. 2 pretty handy options, so a good spoil from Sinclair. Now they might be out, the Blues. Wright usually clever with the footy. Just overhit Petrevski-Seton, but he got it again at ground level. Samo, Petrevski-Seton looking to tee up Silvani. He brought it down for himself as well, and now he improvises and pokes it wide.
Oh, just a couple of kicks that just didn't quite hit the target, weren't they? Just slightly over Jack's head.
Kicked around the corner, so it popped up a little bit, but I would have loved to have seen him take another bounce, get to 35 and just nail us.
But two exciting teenagers for the future.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Absolute excitement machines. Now Rose. Good penetrating kick. Went about 55. Looking for Buddy, and that's a great mark. Alex Silvani, they want 50. Not going to get it. Boyhood Carlton fan. Second cousin of Sauce. No distant relative of Jack Silvani, who's the target here. Three Swans come to get the spoil in. Again, Smith good at ground level, and now Laidler out in front of Heaney. He traps it well and puts a little move on. Gets away from Plowman beautifully, does Isaac Heaney, and Patley is in space. They stream through the middle. Hanbury and company, that's another smother from Silvani. It finds Hanbury by default, and he pokes it home.
Just overlap play in the end, Roosie. They ran hard from defence, the Sydney Swans. Isaac Heaney's move in front of Cam Moody at ground level was pretty special as well, which set up this goal for the Swans.
Yeah, you've just got to corral. You can't let Heaney get around there, and that's what sets up the goal, doesn't it? If Plowman, I think it was, just forces Heaney to the boundary line and makes him kicking up and under, it's a completely different passage of play, but he lets him get around, and a goal scored as a result of that.
Hanbury gets his second goal for the season. And Sydney's second for the afternoon. Sinclair again up against Cruiser. Kennedy, as always, working really hard. It passes Jack. He may get another opportunity. He does now, but he's got a problem. He's beset upon. And there should be a stoppage. There will be. As the sun makes a rare appearance over the MCG. Cruiser again, front spot, did it well. Kerno straight up and down. Tough for Jack Silvani. Jack onto the left boot. Sydney inside 50 once again. Can they take a mark? No, they can't. Rowe working hard, gets claim, but not before he got rid of the footy. Now there's a problem. Plowman gets the hand pass away, and they're out of trouble. Game of defences really at the moment. You just wonder what's going to happen when it eventually does open up. Cripps, nice to see him back. Wiedering.
Geez, again, I've been talking about this guy, I know a lot, but just the work he did off the ball there, Jono, pushing Laidler out of the way, then coming back hard on those leads. He's become a great link-up player for him today.
Fourth mark for the quarter already.
Kerno to the 50. Oh, Levi dropped what he should have taken, but he's paddled it along cleverly to give his teammates an option, and Murphy's got that now. To the top of the square he goes. No one able to take the mark. There was only Silvani there. No free kick, but one behind is the end result.
Well, as long as Grundy's eyes are on the ball, because Silvani, I thought, played that well, making initial contact when Grundy was coming back. Normally you get paid the free kick in that situation. Grundy did read it quite well, though, knowing exactly that Silvani had ducked in behind him.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the term, and it's a 6-point ball game favouring Sydney.
Kennedy taking his time, summing up the options. Cops friendly fire last week from Luke Parker. That's why he's got the head strapping. Sydney coming off that loss in the derby at the SCG. Now Parker. He's holding it up as well. Fans want to see the ball move a little bit quicker. And not 15 is the cry, so Kennedy has to move it quicker. Parker slung around the full 360. It's play on. Tidied up by Williamson.
Automatic dropping it. You go 360.
Cripps can only poke it away as far as Smith. He's caught. Smets does get the reward that time. And he's eager to move it on. Gets it inside 50. Casbolt the target. Can he clunk it? Out the back for Wiedering against Lloyd. Bit of a size mismatch there, but Lloyd at ground level. Good enough to combine with Heaney. Kick down the line, Rowan again. At least made a contest. Doherty goes with the hands. You don't say that too often. He's been kicking plenty today. Now Silvani the target. Off hands, Levi Casbolt in an unfamiliar role trying to bring it back. And couldn't quite bend it. Back for the major.
can see how important the half-backs are now, John. Doherty's had 12 and Jakey Lloyd's had 10 on the other. Laidlaw's had 9. So the 3 high possession winners are all playing in defence.
Tell you, Ruz, I think Jack Silvani might be a bit sore after today. That's about the 3rd or 4th big pack that he's had to crash or been laid into.
Cruiser giving away a fairly obvious free kick to his opposing big man. So it's Sinclair across half-back. Going down the line towards Hewitt. Thumped away, Casbolt.
I thought Parker played that well. His head was down, okay, but Parker didn't sort of come through him. He just sort of leant over him a little bit.
So Big Levi. Can Carlton get another one before quarter time? Not with deliveries like that. Newman. Wide to Lloyd. Just, as Ruzi said, picking up disposals at will. Heaney towards Jack. Gives it off to Hanbury. Now Kennedy, the old firm in business for Sydney. And that's the sort of business they like. Sydney get their third.
Yeah, I reckon there was a bit of a blue by one of the Carlton players on the far side. Had Isaac Heaney covered and ran forward into the forward 50 to cover off on another. We can see him here. There he goes. He leaves Heaney. Not sure I would have done that. And after that happens, really, Carlton can't create one-on-ones. They're one short. That Carlton player leaves Heaney, goes forward. They're one short, and the ball goes down the field.
Well, the Swans mids, we know how good they are. Kennedy, Hanbury and Parker. Just down a little bit on their rankings from previous years, especially Hanbury and Parker. So looking for big games from those boys this afternoon, all involved there.
Time for one more goal before quarter time. Blues get it inside 50. Melican leading Wiedering to the ball. He's having another good game. Second gamer, young Melican. And mark taken by Hewitt on centre wing. And he's content to go backwards. That should wrap up the scoring in this first quarter as Lloyd hits Jones on the lead. And there'll be no time to get the kick away. So the Swans just showing their class, looking for their first win of the season. They lead by 11 points at quarter time.
So set to go once again with Sinclair and Cruiser. Sydney with 3 goals in the first term from Hayward, Kennedy and Hanbury. Petrevski-Seton getting Carlton's only major. Perfect bounce, and neither ruckman really getting a hand of that, so they might have to get up and do it all again because Parker's at the bottom of the pack with the footy.
We talk about the bounce a lot, Sandy. We get the perfect one to start. The ruckman couldn't do anything with it.
You're saying they're not used to it?
Maybe.
So take 2 over the head of Murphy, so he had no choice. Lloyd couldn't do anything with it. Murphy and Cripps both in there for Carlton. Eventually it comes towards Gibbs, but Murphy intercepts. Now he's got a problem. The little man goes to ground with the footy. And an untidy start to this second quarter. Carlton determined to get one early on and stay with them. They don't want Sydney to get a break and sneak away. Kennedy, short kick that was touched, so Simpson leaves it for his teammate there in Doherty. Back to Simpson. He eludes 2, then goes onto the right boot, tumbles a punt up towards Casbolt. Couldn't take the mark. And Charlie Laidlaw back in the side, gives it across to Jones. And Zach runs. And runs through the centre, kicks long up towards the half-forward line, and little Tommy Papley, Pistons pumping, swings around now, goes onto the right, but Rowe is in front of Reed and he takes a timely mark.
And he's going to switch it up here, Rowe. Risky kick, but they look for Doherty when they can. Best and fairest in 2016 with the Blues. And he didn't see an immediate option. Now he pumps it long, hoping Gibbs or Curnow can take a mark. Comes to ground. Smets trying to tidy up. He was set upon by a couple. And Parker gets it across the shoulder inside 50. Difficult for Rowan. And Kennedy and Williamson has scored it across the line.
Yeah, Swans have done a terrific job of stopping any sort of run from Carlton's defence, and that's probably the difference in the game. We saw Jack Jones be able to get it off half-back there briefly, but Sydney have stopped that run off Carlton's half-back line.
Swans have won their last 7 against the Blues. Desperately need a win after starting the campaign 0-5. Umpires found a free kick, and Murphy gets it. And Gibbs has dispensed with the long sleeves at the quarter-time break. Looks for Fisher and Smith. And return to form for him today. Mind you, the kick was smothered. Heaney able to tidy up, and Kennedy's got some room in front of him. Elects to kick back inside. Patley does well to pick it up on the half volley. Out the back for Brandon Jack. Essentially a replacement for his brother Kieran, who's out with a hip today. Swans playing without either Kieran Jack or McVeigh for the first time in a decade. Here's Buddy. No way around Alex Silvani, who stuck to his task. And now Murphy tidies up after the fumble from Patley. Here goes Williamson. Stylish left footer. Off half back. And he finds another one in Cade Simpson.
Great step by Williamson. But Mark Murphy is doing everything this afternoon for Carlton. Getting back to help. Pushing forward.
Poor kick by Gibbs. Put pressure on Curnow, who goes down towards the forward line. Sydney have got the numbers. Push it in towards the pocket where Melican is. And he's got time to eventually come away. Look towards the half-back line and find Hanbury.
Disappointing that, Roosie, isn't it? Casbolt had him set, tackle over the line, stoppage even next to the point post, and to miss that just is too easy and shouldn't happen at this level.
Hanbury short to Heaney. Just
released the pressure, didn't it, John? I mean, they had them pinned in. Could have put some real pressure and maybe some scoreboard pressure on Sydney. Now it's just released it.
Oh, Sinclair dropped an absolute sitter. So the door once again opens for Carlton. And for Williamson.
Must be you, Moons. All these drops are happening right in front of you.
Smets into half forward, picked up by Simpson. Go for goal, Cade. And he does. Simpson gets his first. Carlton get their second. And they stay in touch.
Yeah, look, it was good effort by Simpson. He is a defender that can come right up the ground. So he's a really aggressive defender, so he's always a sneaky chance to kick a goal. It's a drop mark here that really, again, the little mistakes from both teams have probably resulted in goals. Aggressive kick through the middle of the ground here, as we can see, and Simpson pushing right up the ground. Really nice gather here. We've seen a lot of fumbles today, and that's a good goal.
So Carlton with the opening goal of the second term, thanks to that man, Cade Simpson. Good finish, running inside 50. Kennedy helps get the clearance in company with Hewitt. Well, not quite, because Cripps got the smother in. Gibbs on the up for Doherty. Long kick. There's no one for Carlton backing back, and they don't get the bounce thereafter. Smith will be able to keep it in. He thought about letting it roll, and then he got a shout from a teammate saying it's a good idea to keep that one in. They can get it outside 50 with Mills, the rising star in 2016. Long down the line for Reid, who got the jump on Rowe. Smothers have been good today, haven't they? None better than that from Cripps. Hewitt thought he was going to get it up towards forward 50 for the Swans. Now Cruiser does win the tap, but straight down to Kennedy. He took it straight back off him, did Cruiser. And now getting out of there was Heaney. He couldn't get the boot to ball. Cripps again, the extractor. The home fans love it. And Gibbs could only get the kick as far as Heaney. Knocked around by glandular fever in pre-season. Only returned to footy last week at senior level. Here's Rose latching onto it. Couldn't get the hand pass he was after. Now Buddy on the end of it, having a shot. He likes it, this Buddy! From the boundary line, off a step, and Franklin's on the board against the Blues.
Well, that's why he's so dangerous, isn't it? And it's funny because there's always a debate about the type of forward that Buddy Franklin is and being too far up the ground. And I think this is why you want to keep him inside 50 or around the goals, because, well, not this is probably inside 50. It's,
it's within range, though.
49 metres out
within range.
So not many guys can kick that goal, clearly. But, yeah, I just feel he's been too far up the ground at this stage, and he needs to stay back and be really dangerous for the Swans.
Goal number 801 for Buddy. 14 for this season. And a typical trademark Buddy Franklin goal. Cruiser and Sinclair, who's on all fours still, and they pounce upon him. No one able to get it out. Murphy working hard. Heaney lurking. The umpire says, my ball.
Rizzy, when you're coming up against someone like Buddy Franklin as a coach, do you mark him down for 3 or 4, just thinking, well, if we can keep him under that, then we're going to give ourselves a shot?
Yeah, I think Moons too. If he's up the ground, you're reasonably happy with that. So I think 2 to 3 is not a bad result for the opposition if Buddy kicks that.
Curnow to Murphy, who goes long towards Casbolt. And big Levi clunks one. Now he's got the second part of the equation to deal with.
Which I reckon he'll get right, Sandy. He's had a snap already in the first quarter, and he missed a couple of opportunities for marks like this early in the game. So a big chance here to rectify things, Levi Casbolt.
Played every game so far this season. Is averaging almost 2 goals a game. He's kicked 9. And there's a look at his history in front of the sticks. Set shot, and he's almost directly in front. And the silence of the Carlton fans behind the goals tells the story.
Well, he hadn't missed. He only missed once to that side in his history from that spot. So, look, it's a lot better. It's a lot more pure. His kicking technique now for goal.
And big Sav Rocker, who knows how to kick a goal, or knew how to kick a goal, watching on as Wiedering takes the mark to send Carlton back into attack again. Goes towards that man once more, and he doesn't let him down.
That is a
Casbolt.
beautiful kick. Sorry, sir. That's a beautiful kick.
Beautifully weighted.
Wiedering. He summed that up really well, and I love the way that Casbolt pushed back in. And Moons, you've touched on it. It's been a bit of a pattern with the Carlton leaders. They've pushed back in their forwards and then come back towards the ball, which I've really liked.
I just think Grundy, just watching Grundy there, and I know it is from a kick in, but you can't allow this guy to get that front position and run and jump at it. We know he's got arguably the best hands in the competition. We know this is the problem, but as we said, the last couple of weeks have been pretty good. He'll kick this one.
Yeah, the record has improved this season. 9 goals for, make it 10-4, Big Buddy. Not a bad strike rate for the big man. And they're within 4 points here, the Blues. It's game on at the G.
Yeah, and that's exactly where he starts here, Levi Casbolt. If he can get a run and jump at the ball, then he's very difficult to stop, Ruzi. We know he's a great contested mark. I love his shape here to get in and around and create that space for himself. And as you said, the Wiedering kick just set that up nicely for him to pop it into the hole and allow him to jump at it.
Yeah, I just love the way he worked back into where Grundy was and left that space open. Grundy wanted to take back position, as you could see, which the Wiedering kick was exceptional.
It's actually the position Grundy loves most, isn't it? He likes to get behind and then use his body and strength to push you under the ball. Unfortunately, on that occasion, the ball just dropped short on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way out for Parker. Carlton have been good even when the Swans are getting their hands on the ball first. They're wrapping them up.
Especially around here, the smother from Cripps earlier on, which we highlighted. Murphy and Gibbs are getting plenty of ball so far early parts of this second quarter again.
Reid won that tap. Now the Blues do get it out of there in the end. Grundy should get there first. Casbolt tracking him down.
Well done.
He's done really well, Big Levi. Sockers it inside 50. Melican picks up, had to get rid of it and had to keep it in. And Jones doesn't have to do the same.
That was better that time, Ruzi, because at least they made it difficult for Sydney to step out of their back half, rather than what we saw earlier on, missed tackles.
Yep.
And the exit from Sydney was too easy.
Good pressure, much better pressure from Casbolt there.
Cruiser, front spot, does it with the left hand. Parker couldn't get an effective kick away, so they lock it up once more. Hanbury tries to get it out. Simpson's over the top. Hayward there as well. It's a 4-point ball game. Sydney leading, but Carlton dominating clearances and threatening. And remember, next week, it's Carlton-Collingwood.
Oh, look out.
Could that open a can of worms? Mills, Reid from Hanbury. Heaney over the top of Jones, but he's still going. Now, Wiedering claims it. Carlton through Doherty. Go down towards Murphy. Murphy, he's just outside 50. Short little chip towards his mate Gibbs, but he's well spoiled. Now Graham's got a problem. Had it and then lost it. Boy, there's pressure on the Sydney defence at the moment, and they're not out of trouble yet. Carlton again with a chance to Petrevski-Seaton. Through heavy traffic. Goes wide. Standing start. Keck looks pretty good. Carlton have hit the front.
Plenty going on at ground level. Jack Silvani is coming off the ground. He attacked the contest hard, and he's come off second best at this stage. Good to see him up, though, and running off the ground. Comes in here, puts contest on. Looks like he's just gone with the grab the shoulder there as well. But then they continued on, Carlton, to kick a very nice team goal.
Just watching Jack run off the ground at the moment, guys. He's holding that right shoulder. It doesn't feel too good, I don't think, right at the moment. He'll go downstairs and get that thoroughly checked out.
So problems there for Silvani. No problems for Matthew Wright, who's got his 7th goal for the season. First for the day, but more importantly, he's given Carlton the lead.
Yeah, he's averaging about a goal a game since coming over from the Crows. He's a wonderful finisher. Brought back memories of that Murphy goal from a few weeks back. And now Cruiser. Able to swing the right boot onto it. Curnow trying to turn Cunningham inside out, who's stuck to the task. Well played, Harry Cunningham. He's going to get pinged here.
He's thinking, I'll try everything I possibly could, but it was always going to be, when Billy Smets came in, it was always going to be holding the ball.
Now Kennedy can chip it inside 50. He sees Buddy on a big lead. Didn't get to him because Hanbury backing back. Got called into it by Buddy. And Hanbury can go back and have a shot at number 2.
Yeah, I'd like to see, I don't want to be hard on Mark Murphy because it did work hard. I don't know whether he could have worked a little bit hard earlier. It was a bit hard to see off the ball, but Hanbury ran back into that space. It was a terrific effort. Both really good runners, but it looked like Hanbury just outrun him there.
Doesn't mind this spot on the ground either. Dan Hanbury, look at that. 3 straight.
He kicked one from 20 metres out on the run in the first quarter. Now the set shot from an angle he loves to make it 4 straight in his career from here. But he's hit the post. We got him.
Always going to happen.
1-point ball game. These two teams haven't squared off at the MCG since a 1986 qualifying final.
Wow.
Long time between drinks for the Blues against the Swans at the G. And we've got a little cliffhanger evolving midway through the second quarter.
Well, Carlton are in it because they're up in contested possession and clearances at the moment, so they're winning the ball at the source of the contest.
Marchbank kicks up towards centre wing. Murphy was doing the roving but couldn't take it. Now he's got a second opportunity. Clever piece of foot movement, sees him cleared. Jones, that could be a mark to Zach Jones. It was. He got a fist to it and then claimed it at the second attempt as he defends for the Sydney Swans. Goes down the line towards Hanbury, who was outgunned. The Cripps hand pass a little errant. He may get another chance. He does. Tries to flick it out to accommodate Doherty, who's under real pressure. Eventually they're clear. Carlton going down towards half forward. Right again. He's got to beat a couple here. Laidler's right on his hammer. He does manage to get boot to ball and just puts it in towards the pocket. Well, it's going to be kept in play, and it's going to be Grundy who gets the hand pass away. Sydney out of trouble again, perhaps only momentarily. Decent old shove there. Not very subtle either. So once again, it gives Carlton the opportunity through Billy Smets to go deep into attack. 75 from home. Casbolt. Casbolt! Gee, they're delivering it to him beautifully.
Yeah, good calls there. Now, that's the second really nice kick, and Moves hit the nail on the head. When this guy gets a run at it, there's no better mark in AFL football at the moment, because so you've got to take his body. There's a free kick from Nick Newman. You've got to take his body. You can't give him a run up. That's Callum Sinclair. Here it is here. You can't just give him a free run at it.
So Levi for his second in the quarter, and he's got it. And Carlton stretch their lead.
Well, Roosie, we highlighted it a couple of minutes ago, and this is nearly an identical play from Levi Casbolt. There he is, top of screen, so keep an eye on him. Billy Smets really controlled here with his kick, gets around the back, uses his teammates for a bit of a block for himself, and then gets the pure jump at the ball. Twice now, he's converted from doing exactly that.
And you could see Sinclair had an opportunity to put some body on him as he came round on that arc.
That's
right.
He
refused to. Let him get behind him and then let him get back in front of him. So that's poor body work from Sinclair.
Yeah, it's got to be really frustrating for the Swans coach, John Longmire, the way that Levi Casbolt is able to lead up and take those grabs. Now he's in the ruck. Sinclair goes over the top of him. And the free kick is paid to Sydney. Advantage to Kennedy. Here comes Buddy, trying to leap over the top of them. Both Swans go to ground. And Rowe able to tidy up. Here's Doherty again. Good kick. Just pulled it to Graham. And he can find Simpson. Won't be able to go because Cunningham came to greet him. Chips it down the line for Wiedering. And now good movement by Petrevski-Seaton to present an option. Inside for Gibbs. He hangs it up. Wants a big man to attack it. They get there again. It was Cripps playing forward. Fisher at ground level. And Lloyd. Quick hands on the up for Newman. Confident player in his first season. Couldn't find the target with the handball. There were so many blues there. And Simpson swings it wide, another fumble. Able to regather it second time around, but the kick not great as he was dragged. Reed's got time. Looking for Buddy, pulled it, hooked it. Silvani able to poke it out towards Rowe. He couldn't gather. Brandon Jack goes back to Buddy. Fans want him to have a crack from 70, and he didn't get hold of it. No one in the goal square. Takes a bounce and almost came back. A little bit of a tweaker.
Guys, just a quick update down here on Casbolt. Just there, just getting a little bit of work done behind the ear. Just see it here. I reckon this would be a nice little knee right under the ear there, Jono. That's why you never rucked. Smart.
Cruiser.
And I was too short.
Mills couldn't take it at the first attempt. Manages to shrug the tackle. Trying to centre the ball, but White had eyes for the footy only.
How important is that Silvani role now on Buddy Franklin? Because it's allowing others to gain confidence around. If he's doing that job, Rowe and Doherty's continuing to run, and Plowman and Marchbank, these guys are playing perfectly because Silvani's doing the job at the moment.
Doherty, Williamson and Graham combined to get it to Cripps.
I think we're seeing two experienced players in Silvani helping down back on that job, which allows the other young defenders, and at the other end Casbolt, because Wiedering, you've touched on it, Moons, played a really good role, link role, but if Casbolt's not there, it means Wiedering has to go deeper, closer to goal.
Marchbank going short. Now Murphy is in the middle, and he's got it now. He's claimed, shrugs the tackle, and did get the hand pass away. Went back towards Cripps. Now Marchbank's dropped it, and he's going to lose it. So turnover, how cost is it going to prove? Hanbury's away, he's had a bounce. He's got to wait for Rowan to get down in the forward line. He's got to give a little ground. He does exactly that. Takes it back from Heaney. Goes onto the left boot. The lead is on, the pass is there, and so too is Papley. Papley now from 48 metres sets sail for home, and bang, scores are level here at the MCG. Papley gets his first. He's had a quiet comeback since that debilitating injury, but he's got his first for the day.
There was good composure here from Dan Hanbury. He held on to it. I thought the Carlton player, I can't remember who it was, did really well early, then left him to go to Heaney, which allowed Heaney to give it back to Hanbury, and then Hanbury hit Papley, and he's a nice finisher, Papley. Generally kicks, you know, one or two goals a game.
Good news for Carlton fans down here, guys. Levi Casbolt back onto the ground.
But he hasn't gone into the ruck. He doesn't want to take on
I
Carlton
don't think
Sinclair
he'll be
again.
against Petty.
It's Cruiser against Sinclair, and brought down by Cruiser. Tidied up by Parker. On the left, looking for Reed, who just shoved his man out of the way. White got away with a potential push in the back. Couldn't make it count, though, and the Blues pull clear again. Oh, look out, Gibbs. Rose got him. Just a handy little shepherd by Smets. Gave him just enough time. Advantage played to the Blues. Here's Williamson. And he's going to hold things up. Scores level at the G. Late in the first half. Curnow, good contest. Fans like the way he went through Heaney there. Charlie Curnow, younger brother of Ed, 7 years between the two brothers. Cruiser against Sinclair again. You joined us late, Kurt Tippett, a late out, so much of the ruck responsibility falling the way of Sinclair for the Swans. No Naismith either at the moment. A couple of weeks out for him as he recovers from that knee. And Cripps back into the action.
The biggest concern for John Longmire at the moment is contested possession. They were a great contested possession team last 6-7. You can go back as long as you want, Sandy, but you know, they'd be really disappointed. They're down by 12 in that area.
From the throw in, Heaney picks it up, but again well smothered by Cripps. Ricochets away to the big man Sinclair. Papley off the ground, goes again, then just paddles it forward. Well done, Tommy. Towards the 50. Reid was his target, couldn't find him. White defends, goes back towards the centre wing. Sydney have got the numbers here. Hewitt, a give and a give back from Sinclair. Buddy underneath it. No, couldn't hold it. So Kennedy has it stolen as well. Sydney really struggling at the moment to get any sort of finesse into their game as Hewitt sent them into attack, only to see Simpson and co cut it off. Cade Simpson tucked in the back pocket. An important 3.5 minutes remaining in this half. And the dropsies continue. Petrevski-Seaton. A number of mistakes today, whether it was the slippery ball early on. Here's Mills. That's better. And Papley gets another chance. That goal, this for his second. And this to regain the lead for Sydney.
That's it. Hold that line. Play on.
Plays on and hooks it. Does Papley. So just a 1-point margin in favour of the Swans. The plumber from Melbourne, who were able to live out his AFL dream and now play on the G with the Swans. Both grandfathers of Tommy played for South Melbourne. Doherty kicks it to himself, gets another stat. He's the leading possession getter on the ground with 21, heading up towards half-time. Handball out the back. Murphy with some beautiful stepping to get around his man. No one really going to get on the end of it. And the Swans let it go across the boundary line. Heath Grundy says we'll have the 50-50 from the ruck contest. Bruiser into position. Good battle between he and Sinclair again. Jones, how strong. Older brother Nathan might be in the crowd to watch him. Young Zach. And now Parker. Just takes a little off the kick, looking for Reid. Oh, Carlton at ground level. And it's a big up and under. Do your best with that. At ground level, Lloyd. They can get some good possession going here. Good spoil from behind. As Brandon Jack waited for it, Marchbank killed it. Now the aggressive handball missed its mark through the middle. Rose latches onto it. Puts it out in front of Franklin, who just got his man under the ball. Franklin back the other way, held on to. No free kick, and the Blues are out, only momentarily. Good effort from Rose. They wanted Marchbank to kick it. He held on too long.
Well, he had to kick it because he had one-on-ones down the field.
Smith, a high ball. Big pack of players. There's been a whistle. It's a Sydney free kick. Parker's going to give it across to Isaac Heaney, who's going to have a shot from 35 out directly in front.
And that's why they had a chance to release the pressure. The Blues, just a quick kick down. Even if he kicked at 70, Roosie, and they're able to then to set up, even if Sydney did have the extra there, which they didn't at that time. Felt pressure, and now Isaac Heaney with his set shot at goal.
40th game, 44 goals, so just above a goal a game, and he's fulfilled that today. His first, and Sydney stretch their lead to 7 points.
And here it is. Here's the free kick here. It was just unnecessary from Curnow. Yeah, you've got support there. You got, yeah, I think that's White coming over the top. You got Simpson protecting your back. It's just a really, really poor free kick. Completely unnecessary. But it really, yeah, really stemmed from Marchbank not kicking the ball when he was facing goal. He had one-on-ones in front of him. He was running. A couple of strange decisions from the Blues.
Look at all those inside 50s in the last 10 minutes. They got the payoff there, the Swans, with the goal to Heaney. So inside the final minute of the second quarter. Brought down by Sinclair. Kennedy Trying to get it out of there. They hold on again, the Blues. They spin Parker around as well. And now Murphy has it. Cripps. And he threw it or lost it. Incorrect disposal. Good tackle by Hewitt. There's been a few of those today from him. A boy from country South Australia. Jones taking his time. Looks for Sinclair. Curnow got a hand to it. Rose on the up. Good handball from Jack over the top to Heaney. Nice first step from Isaac Heaney to go back-to-back at the end of the second quarter and didn't get the purchase on it he was after.
He's had a terrific game, Isaac Heaney. He's up to 17 disposals and a goal.
Doherty brings it back into play. First time Doherty's picked up 20 disposals in a half. He's been a prolific ball winner. White. Still virtually in the back pocket. And that's all she wrote for the half as he finds Curnow. But all set up for a fascinating second half here at the MCG. Sydney led early. Carlton pegged them back in the second quarter and for a while took the lead. But a late goal from Sydney and Isaac Heaney has seen them regain the lead. And the margin at half-time is just 8 points, 6-6 to 5-4. Ed, we're in for a big second half here at the G.
Looking forward to it, Sandy. 8 points the difference.
15 minutes in the second half where they came from behind to grab a share of the lead, only to see Sydney, through Isaac Heaney, regain it late in the term. So here we go, second half. And it again will be Cruiser doing the ruck work up against Sinclair. And it's the former who wins it. Kennedy got a hand to it, couldn't take it away. Cripps now comes over the top with Gibbs just to make sure that ball is locked up. Cruiser this time smashes it 15 metres towards Wiedering. Wiedering goes wide to Petrevski-Seaton. He's 65 from home. Goes short, almost the one-hander. Not going to be paid. They play on. The kick is long. It's good. What a start by Carlton in this second half. So Wright has two. Curnow gets his first. That's Ed Curnow. And Carlton back in business, trailing by 2 points.
Yeah, I love that from the ruckman. It's as you can see, he just belts it forward. I don't understand why dominant ruckmen don't do that more often. Great ground ball by Wiedering, I think it was. Step inside Petrevski-Seaton. Not a great kick, but this is a great kick. That's a great bit of a tumble punt, but got it in the right direction and back to within 2 points.
He's kicked a few goals this season, Ed Curnow. Different role for him, playing a little more forward in 2017. And Gibbs with another clearance for the Blues, looking to turn it around here in the third quarter in quick fashion. Fisher
Great kick.
pulled it nicely for Wright. And good work from Wiedering as well. Good handball on the outside.
It was so good because he's composed with his step. I thought the handball from Wiedering was excellent to get underneath the arm of the Swans. And then for this young man, with that natural composure in this position, it's a bright future ahead.
So when he misses them a little right. He's 2-2 from this spot. Already got one on the board this afternoon. You'd back him in from here, wouldn't you? Goal umpire doesn't move. Wright's got two, and the Blues are in front already.
Yeah, it's a great start. Gibbs, terrific clearance too in the middle of the ground there. Won a really hard ball, got it out. And you're right about Wiedering. The good thing I like about Wiedering, he's really clean below his knees. We're seeing some of the forwards, big forwards coming in where they're one-dimensional. And this is a good finish. And he's been a terrific player for him, right?
He's been into Mills. Yeah, he's been into Mills from the start, actually, right? Yeah. So a little bit of a target there for the Blues.
Good call, Jono. Sorry, that's a good call. I reckon they've been after Mills the whole game. Every time something's happened behind, even behind the play, they've gone after Mills every single time.
Definitely, Moons.
Sinclair got a hand to it. Murphy got a boot to it. And he may go again, although Hanbury chips in. Pressure now on Sydney. Seeing Carlton score a couple of early ones. Mills spirals a punt kick towards Buddy. Got one hand to it. Oh, magnificent. The way he juggled it, both with hand and foot, giving it to Hayward. Hayward's kick, however, goes straight into the arms of Rowe, who gives it to Williamson, and they defend to Simpson. Simpson thought about Plowman short. Heaney's got him covered. So he'll go long and down the line. He does, and, well, the one we thought was covered wasn't. Plowman takes the mark.
Never seen a better Cooter look like, have you, Sandy?
No, I don't. I think you're right, actually. Yeah, Curnow, exactly like Cooter. That's Charlie Curnow, by the way. Not to be confused with Ed.
This is party time for Buddy here. Just
This is
look
not
at this.
bad, is it?
I'll just
The
flick it
hand.
over.
Like Tubby Taylor flicking it up for the catch at first slip.
I might try that at the park tomorrow, Jono, in the morning.
Good luck with your hammies.
Kennedy in trouble. And Sydney at the moment just trying desperately to hold off Carlton, who've got a 50-metre penalty.
I'm not sure what Pat was complaining
No,
about.
He thinks the ball was touched off the boot.
Okay.
right.
Well, he thought wrong moons because
Yes, he
50
did.
metres is against.
Generous 50 too.
Yeah, it is.
So every player now in one half of the ground. A very, very congested forward line. It's the kick by Marchbank towards Casbolt, an obvious target. Uses his bulk, can't take the footy. Curnow working hard. Kennedy there as well with Zach Jones and Laidler.
Would you like to see the torpedo back, boys? Like in that position there, 55 out.
Yes.
Just try and have a crack, launch a torp.
Bit of excitement, bit of glamour.
Yeah.
Rowan had it for a moment. Parker desperate to regain his top form. Now Kennedy, short little chip to Papley. Got barely anything in front of him. Well, he has got Buddy. And there he goes. Franklin couldn't take the mark. Going to be belted away by Silvani. Well done by the former Docker. Advantage is being paid. It was a Carlton free kick. And now Williamson has it on the defensive side of centre. The Blues looking to control through Fisher.
It was an interesting advantage call considering the kick on the whistle went backwards. That it didn't, just because it was an open player doesn't necessarily mean it is advantage.
Penetrating kick by Fisher, who's only a small man. And that was a heavy clash. Casbolt is down, and so too is Heaney. Thankfully, both are up. I think Heaney might have come off second best.
Buddy just waited for it. Silvani got another spoil in. Simpson picks it up at ground level, and he is wrestled to the ground by Rowan. An easy call that time. He had
hammered.
prior.
Yeah, he's absolutely hammered to the ground there. Oh,
So now, yeah, Zach Jones coming in, trying to get him off his teammate. He's given away a free kick.
And Cripps breaks into space. Simpson puts it out in front of him. Had to wait for it, but he's strong enough, isn't he, to get it to Murphy on the up. Now looking deep, one-on-one contest, right? Usually clever in these situations, but so's Callum Mills, the rising star. Then he almost gave it away to Casbolt. Petrevski-Seton, Wiedering.
Got it.
He's got it all right. The Blues by 10.
The Casbolt factor. A couple of minutes ago, him and Heaney went at it in a marking contest. Heaney comes off second best. Both boys going for it. Heaney doesn't shirk the contest, but he sees Big Levi coming the other way again, and he doesn't want to get injured. And this is where it all started before the excitement of Carlton going all the way to kick the goal. Zach Jones coming in and ripping Simpson off and getting done for holding the man.
What a start by Carlton in this second half. Came into it trailing by 8 points. They lead by 10. Bounce to Sinclair. Nothing Cruiser could do about that except bottle it up with Cripps at the bottom of the pack, and that's what he does.
Jono, great call on the Casbolt factor there too, wasn't it? You could see a lot of the Sydney boys are now starting to look around. They know he's jumping. They know he's hurting. I'll tell you what, there's a couple of boys maybe taking some short steps.
Shades of Big Mummy, isn't he? Powerful man.
Straight up, Patrick. Straight up. Let him up.
I think with Casbolt too, I think the better his goal kicking is going to get, he starts to get confident then, because I reckon there's probably times where he'd like to fly for marks and he doesn't because he's concerned about if he can get his goal kicking, he'll go to another level again. There's no question about that.
Ernie Kennedy, Hanbury, still in the middle of the ground and thrown out to Gary Rowan. So it'll be a Carlton free kick. They're growing in confidence all the time. Simpson will go laterally. So the switch on. They've done really well towards Wiedering again.
He's let
Takes
up
it
well.
beautifully on the wing.
He's let up well, Sandy, but gee, they've kicked the ball to him exceptionally well to allow that to happen.
Back to Marchbank. He's on the centre wing. And no rush. Just trying to find a path.
Doherty keeps racking him up.
What's he up to now, Brendan?
25.
25. Well, he had more than 20 in the first half, which was a first. And this time it's hammered over the boundary line for a throw in. 9 minutes gone, so plenty of time in this third quarter for Sydney to mount some sort of a comeback. Carlton would dearly love the next goal. Cruiser, front spot. Sinclair at the back. Jones waiting down in front, finding Hanbury, but it'll go onto the left foot. It's going to be okay. Hayward takes the mark, gives it back to Hanbury again. That was ambitious. Curnow steals it, gets it across to Gibbs. Carlton will go forward again. Gibbs has a look inside 50. Kick's got to be good. Laidler comes over the top. He's able to affect the spoil. Sinclair hand pass back to Laidler. Gets a hurried kick. It was touched, so play on. Simpson might have a shot from here. He's 49 metres. He goes for goal to the top of the square and in towards Wiedering. Couldn't take the mark and threw the one behind.
Just a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes at the moment, the Swans. Just poor king. I see John Longmire would be pretty frustrated in the coach's box.
Well, Jones, he owes them one. And after that reversal that led to a Carlton goal, he finds Hanbury on centre wing. Here comes Butt. And Silvani again, his spoiling has been fantastic. Getting the fist around Buddy, who was able to track it down and find Kennedy, who saw a man breaking inside 50. Hewitt can run on. He steadies and hooks it. Big opportunity goes to waste. Everyone was thinking the Swans were going to break their drought in 2017 today, but Carlton playing from in front here midway through the third. And Gibbs breaking into space. Moves it on quickly. Aggressive kick. What a mark. And he kept his feet as well, Curnow. Picks up Simpson. Smets is out. He finds him lates out. Brilliant ball movement. What about the pluck from Charlie Curnow?
How important was it as well? He had three Swans around him and that ball hits the deck. It's going back the other way very quickly. And then it just created that corridor ball and they were out. Simpson again involved.
So Billy Smets, the former Cat, trying to get his first goal for the Blues. And see what the breeze is doing. Can he negotiate that? And he hasn't. He sprayed it.
$11 points, the margin.
What a mark, Curnow.
How good was that? Eyes on the ball, didn't deviate his eyes.
Looking more and more like that 1995 wingman Kudo again, Sandy.
What a player he was.
Oh, Rowan.
Rove stood his ground, took the mark, and Sydney are going to be down one player.
He's out,
Simpson
guys.
takes the
He's
mark.
out.
He's
They're going to have
gone.
to stop the game here.
Yep. Well, Simpson's come on our side of the ground to Marchbank. He'll go short to Graham. Still no movement on the other side of the ground. The umpire's letting it go on for the moment. Kick's got to be good. Mark was dropped. Heaney, however, gets claimed as he had the footy. Josh Kennedy under all sorts of pressure.
Called
had it
for the
and then lost
stretcher.
it. And now the stretcher has been called
Yep.
for. This umpire is unaware of it at the moment.
They'll make aware of it now. The third umpire should know
Marchbank,
that.
it's high and it's long in towards Cruiser. Couldn't quite take
Still
the
haven't
mark.
seen the stretcher
The
yet. The umps.
Medicab is on the ground.
No, the umps
It's going
haven't
to be
seen
a
it.
snap
They're
and
going to
goal.
kick a
It's going to be a goal, and it's kicked by Wright. He's got 3. And while all that's happening, the stretcher is out, the cart is out, but still no movement.
Yeah, that's Gary Rowan going back with the flight of the ball there. You can see He's not moving at all, which is clearly not a great sign. Went back with a fly to the ball. You can see it here. Jumps up and sort of twists in the air and yeah, lands back of his head.
Now, Gary Rowan, no head contact initially with Rowe, but when he comes down, that's when it got awkward. And he has hardly moved since then. Real concern being shown for Gary Rowan, who's had so many injury concerns in his young career.
Yeah, and then the stretcher did come out onto the ground. Play did continue. The umpires didn't pick that up. Carlton's kicked the goal in the meantime while the stretcher, the medivac, was on the ground at Gary Rowan. So
yeah, look, wasn't great umpiring there. I don't know what the communication levels
they just didn't see it. I don't think I don't know whether even the fourth umpire on the boundary line here even saw it.
Aren't they wired up to?
Yeah, they are.
They're wired up to someone. I don't know whether communication can go down to the boundary. But anyway, look, Gary has had a history of injuries. We had that terrible broken leg, and this is where the excellent medical staff. You can see how careful they are. Obviously, massive concern. When you're a coach and this situation happens, you really forget about the game, to be perfectly frank. Your thoughts are fairly and squarely with the player.
Particularly with the neck region, you've just got to be so careful. Double blow for Sydney in one hit. Carlton getting their 9th goal, courtesy of Matthew Wright. While 80 metres away, Gary Rowan was unconscious on the ground.
He had an interrupted pre-season because of back issues. Gary Rowan only got back on the field for his first game of AFL last week. So they're putting him on the Medicab, and such concern. You saw prayers from John Longmire up in the coach's box as well. How the crowd responds.
I also saw Wiedering too, receiving a bit of treatment while he had a few spare moments.
I don't know whether Wiedering was hobbling there, Sandy, or looked like maybe he was just hopping the boundary line, but it didn't look too.
No, Roosie, you're spot on. There is a little bit of a hobble in his walk. He came past before, and we just saw him just as he got on the phone before. He was hopping up and down. So there is a little bit of a concern there, but I think everyone's just found it a good opportunity, maybe just to come off and just check out on everything.
Already one down with Jack Silvani injuring his shoulder in the second quarter. The Blues.
Firstly, thoughts with Gary, and hopefully
definitely
it's just there it is. We're about to see it again here, and you can see him. He knows what's going on. He sort of looks at Rowe and just obviously tries to make as good a contest as he can, and then just gets twisted up, Sandy, and twists in the air.
Yeah, it was that twist that it got him caught. It's almost as if he wasn't planning on hitting Rowe the way that he did.
No.
And then he lost his legs, didn't he? Once you lose your legs and flipped over.
It's an awkward situation, that, Jono, because you need to go and make some sort of contest, but the distance between the ball drop and where you are, and
well, he would have thought when he looked back initially, I'm a chance here, so he would have committed to it, and then looked again, thinking, well, maybe I've got to jump in the air and hope that I might get a hand on it or something like that if I'm just out of the contest.
I think he's still out.
And got twisted up. So this is big. Just our thoughts are with Gary Rowan, his family at the moment. He's in great hands with the doctors there for the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, and look, in the coaching group, as I said before, you can see John Longmire and John Blakey talking a little bit about tactic, but first and foremost, the concerns around the player, and that's what John Longmire would be thinking about. He'd be wanting to get a medical report as quickly as he can. Clearly, he's not going to come back on the ground, but I'm talking from a personal point of view, the relationship between the coach and the player. He'd want to make sure that young Gary's, is okay, and we'd be looking to get some sort of response from his medical staff. But you can see there, Sandy, you mentioned, he's flicking his eyes a little bit, but it's a bit hard for us to tell up here exactly how he is.
The Sydney fans obviously love him. He's a dashing player when he's in full flight. He's blistering pace out of the middle. Certainly going to be sorely missed. And Sydney now with more than a few problems. 9-6 to 6-7. Is Carlton going to provide an extraordinary upset? And is Sydney going to be 0-6 after 6 rounds? Got to go back all the way back to 1993 when they had a worse start. They were 0-12 from the middle. It's socked out of the centre, up towards the half-forward line. Simpson's running wide. He's got it now. That was cleverly done by Carlton as a team. He gives it away towards Doherty, who's knocked up getting kicks. It's a high ball, not a lot of distance. Waiting down is 3-goal right. 4-goal right, is it? Yes, it is! If you don't mind.
There's a lot going right for right, Sandy. I mean, that's a... And look, when things go for you, these are the sort of things that happen. You know, a couple of scrubby kicks, a kick off the ground from Cripps to get the ball going out of a centre bounce. Another sort of wobbly old punt. I think it was Doherty you called, Sandy. Another wobbly old punt. You can see it here. It starts from Cripps, kick along the ground.
It does, but Zach Jones goes in as the winger. Simpson just stays out all by himself. And he's the one who affects it, Brucey.
He was just loitering here, right? Watch, peels off.
Yep.
And then he was clever. He thought about this, didn't he? Tumbles it.
Nice goal.
It was a deliberate shot, wasn't it? Like you need a reasonable bounce, but you've still got to have the courage to have the shot.
Petrevski-Seaton on the up for Cruiser.
Another clearance.
Now Graham penetrating kick, lace out. Beautiful kick to Curnow on a strong lead. And he's stepping back like he's going to have the crack from 55.
He could kick that, couldn't he, John?
Guys, just quickly down here on Jacob Wiedering. It's that left thigh. He's got it heavily strapped. It looks like a big corky. He's on the phone right now, I'd say, to the coach, just letting him know if he can go or not.
Jono, distance not a problem?
No, not an issue for Big Charlie.
He made his debut, round 2, last year against the Swans. Kicked a goal, they were hammered. This would mean a whole lot more against the Swans today. If he can kick it from here, and he's...
Just the accuracy, Sandy.
Hasn't even registered. Look at those unanswered goals from Carlton since half-time. 4 of them.
Laidler brings it back in. Sydney barely been into attack so far in this term. They've got an opportunity now. Franklin was held. He's got a free kick, but he's still on the defensive side of centre. Heads in towards the middle, looking for Rose. Clean bowl. Everyone's clean bowled. Papley might get a kind bounce. He does. There's no one in front of him. And he just pops it forward, and it's going to dribble into the pocket. And Sam Rowe will be getting there first. Papley's on him now, and he's got him, has Tom.
That was fantastic by Papley.
Didn't he get his skates on?
He kicked it. I don't think he did it deliberately, as in trying to keep the ball in. I think he just kicked it forward. But the speed to actually get to Rowe, and probably for Sam Rowe, a little bit of a lack of awareness about what was sort of coming towards him.
And for Papley not to go high in that situation as well.
He got one in the second term. He desperately needs to do the job for Sydney on this one. But he can't.
He really rushed that, didn't he? He looked like he wanted to kick it inboard, and then he didn't really set himself, and then really rushed the kick.
Ruzi, you talked about Rowe there and the lack of awareness, but it's almost a position now where, as a defender, you can't even grab the ball because you can't run it out. And if you do grab it, you're going to get holding the ball, so you've almost got to paddle it around for a bit.
Lloyd to Heaney, to Reid, dropped it. Recovered well. Gave it to his co-big man Buddy. Back to Reid. 50 metres out. He's on the line. Rose, 1, 2 grabs. Play on, said the umpire. So Rose is locked up, and we'll have a stoppage. Just 15 out.
He thought he got the first touch. He thought it was a mark, did Rose?
He did, didn't he?
Umpire thought the Carlton spoiler got a good piece of it, so he said play on. What can the Swans do here? Hanbury gets his first hands on it. Miss Reid with the handball. He goes again, the big man. Now Lloyd, quick hands. Likewise Hewitt to Parker. All the way back. And off the outside of the boot, bringing it back. And near side from Cunningham. Simpson just held up by Jones.
And guys, Wiedering is back on the ground at the moment, but with a big, heavy bandage, as I said, and a big limp.
Cade Simpson showing all of his experience there, able to get around Jones, but couldn't get it past Mills.
Wiedering's not right. He can hardly walk, Wiedering.
That's it.
Right.
Heaney looks for Buddy. Good contest. Well played Plowman initially. Rose pokes it away, trying to get on the end of his own little socket.
It's coming off.
Coming off now, Sandy, as we speak. He looks in real trouble. Could not go through that run at all.
So Wiedering hobbles off. They've already lost Jack Silvani. The Swans without Gary Rowan. Everyone praying for good news for the Swans number 16, who left on the Medicap. Latched onto by Hewitt, who's led the way tackling-wise for the Swans. And this time the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Yeah, they've picked up their intensity the last couple of minutes, the Swans. There's no doubt about that. And they're really hunting a goal now.
It had been one-way traffic at the start of this third quarter. Kennedy for a captain's goal, and he dragged it across the face just.
Gary Rowan, no doubt, being taken straight to hospital. So we'll certainly keep you in touch with any news once we have it. Critical 7.5 minutes remaining in this term.
And Charlie Curnow's role, it changes now with Wiedering off the ground. He has to become that link in the position where he's competing right now. He's got pretty good endurance, so he needs to be able to produce in that role in this second half.
Combines with Wright and Silvani and Petrevski-Seton, who I think called his teammate out. Petrevski-Seton goes laterally. That's going to be okay, though. Once again, it's a slow build-up. It's got to be effective. Murphy to Doherty. Probably finish up with 40 disposals today, Doherty. Down towards the half-forward line. Simpson again. One kick away from the danger zone now. Petrevski-Seton. He goes back. It's a poor option. He was looking for Gibbs. Well, luckily he's had assistance from White and he was able to give it back to Bryce Gibbs. He puts them inside 50 now. Casbolt uses his strength, couldn't take the mark but recovers well, gets the hand pass away, comes wide towards Cripps. He's tucked in the pocket, he's claimed, tackled, loses the footy out the back. Got a call from Plowman. He can't do anything with it. He's under pressure, but he does take his opponent and the ball over the line.
Strong through the hips, Cripps, but Reid held on. Needed to.
Good tackle from Plowman as well. He tried to tackle him back into play so he'd get a holding the ball decision.
Cruiser, front spot. Parker, no. Graham, no. Down at the bottom with Parker. Curnow bouncing. Well, it was dangerous from Mills then. He just tried to fist it away. Now he gets an opportunity to tidy up with Zach Jones. He does exactly that. Another one, Newman. Not out of strife yet. And not out of strife yet. Enter Sam Rowe. And he's caused the stoppage. Five and a half minutes remaining. Reid doing the ruck work. Hanbury tries to pluck it out of the air. Unsuccessful. Kennedy hand pass towards Buddy Franklin. Takes them off. He took them all off. And somehow the ball came out the back. Sydney in possession through Lloyd initially. Now Cunningham short to Hanbury. Over the top he goes. This is Parker. Luke Parker's got Zach Jones running for him. He should kick a goal. He has a bounce. He's 30 out. He shoots and he goals. And that is what Sydney needs.
Yeah, they certainly did need that, Sandy. And that's probably one of the few times they've actually outrun Carlton from that stoppage over there. They just outworked them, outran them. Buddy crashed his way through. He's still playing very, very high, but you can see how quickly, one of the few times that Carlton's defensive running was really, really poor. Zach Jones came from the other side of that stoppage, just ran into forward 50 completely by himself. One of the few defensive breakdowns for the Blues.
Well, you can't accuse Luke Parker of being Buddy conscious, because Buddy was screaming for that, saying, give it to me, give it to me. And he said, nah, I've got Jones here into open space.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'd be interested to see John Longmire's instructions to Buddy, because I haven't liked his game at all today. He's just spent far too much time up the ground, but that may be the instruction he's been given.
Parker gets the clearance. Sinclair trying to get there. He got the hand to it, just one. Brought it down. Silvani goes again. It's been quite the debut for the former Docker in Blues colours, helping to keep Buddy relatively quiet. And now one for Casbolt to go at. Grundy ran it better in flight. And he tees it up for Sinclair to go again, and Sinclair will bring it down. Second grab, that's a mark. And he can go back, and the Swans getting a little run on here.
Yeah, it's been good the last 5 minutes for Sydney, but it comes down to this. They get the goal from Zach Jones. Callum Sinclair, all the work pushing forward, and now just has to nail this opportunity.
He's been a pretty good goal kicker in his time with West Coast and his first season with the Swans. Looking for goal number 30 in game number 49, and from this range he's batting at 66%. Slow, deliberate run-up from Sinclair, and he likes it. They love it, the Swans. They're back within 8 points late in the third quarter.
All clear, all clear.
Where's the all clear?
Yeah. He's had a pretty good game, Sinclair, Jono. He's 17 now, and he's kicked a goal, so it's been a reasonable performance. Reed's in the ruck at the moment, and this is what ruckmen have to do. If they want to stay on the ground as the second ruckman or resting ruckman, they have to take marks, they have to kick goals, because very few of them put pressure on the ground level, and very few of them tackle very well. So you have to mark it when you go forward, and he's done that, and he's done his job.
First goal to Sinclair as Reed moves into the middle.
The last 10
with Cruiser.
Last 10 minutes, Sandy, they've doubled inside 50s to Carlton, the Cindy Swans, and up in contested possessions as well.
Yeah, they're keen on the red time, but Carlton have a chance to go into attack here, and they do. The juggling mark in the end almost was taken by Cripps, and he's going to have a shot. Can he answer in the best possible fashion?
Interesting how much time Cripps has spent at full forward. Now, obviously, Wiedering going off, that may have had an impact, but he's been down there a fair bit this quarter.
50th game today for Patrick Cripps. Just the one goal so far. No. It's going to be called back.
Can't block the man on the mark. I never call play on. No. Back here. Grab the 3 set. We need the footy back.
So Cripps came off his line but didn't get called to play on. Maybe the umpire thought that was his natural arc with his goal-kicking run-up. As soon as he came off the line, that's when Petrevski-Seton came up to block for him, but the umpire didn't call play on. That's why he's got to take the kick once again. Bit of a set play, though. They've worked things out.
Yeah.
The training, under trying to work a way that he can get a shot at goal and be effective from, maybe this isn't his distance, but 45 is trying to get that extra yardage closer to goal.
You just get the feeling that he isn't confident with the distance. He certainly isn't. He's kicked into the man on the mark, and now he's got a problem because he's got to beat about 4 of them, including this man, Buddy Franklin. And Buddy's away. A bounce as he storms in towards the middle. Goes short. That's going to be okay. The mark taken by Jack. Kennedy running past. Still right in the middle. Gives it off to Cunningham. Now Mills. On the outer wing. Back to Cunningham he goes. He's got a little bit of room. Worm-burning pass in towards half forward. It was barely 2 metres off the ground. Plowman had it, lost it, tries to regain it. They come from everywhere, and he's going nowhere.
I'll tell you what Simpson and Doherty do really well, Sandy. You can see Doherty at the back of that stoppage. As soon as there's a turnover in their back half, they get back as a goalkeeper or whatever. You know, the terminology differs at different clubs, but they're very, very good at protecting their goal zone for a turnover.
Newman, from a standing start, goes in towards Sinclair again. Gee, you got one hand to it. They rolled over the top of him. Carlton with numbers should relieve the pressure for the moment. Curnow taken to the line, and we've got a throw in.
Guys, just some news down here on Wiedering. Again, doing some run-throughs. He's actually taken the bandage off that thigh, still struggling to run, but we thought his day was completely done. He is giving it another go. Still doesn't look that flash, though.
Okay, well, a vital 2 minutes here. Cruiser gives it off to Curnow. Was taken high, shrugged it, then took his kick up towards Casbolt. The race is on. Cunningham's quick. Cunningham's first to it, but he gets claimed. Cripps, clever little kick. Petrevski-Seton in trouble. Gives the hand pass away. An opportunity now for Fisher. Centering ball. Anyone going past. They got a player at the back. Can't get a kick. That was Williamson. Flick by. Still an opportunity with Carlton. A snap. A snap. And I'm afraid it is one behind for Billy Smets. One behind with 1:21 on the clock in this quarter.
So the work continues on Wiedering. Can he get back out there? That strapping was weighing him down earlier. Now the kick for Parker. Normally a good contested mark. Reid tapped it down to Parker to good effect. Hewitt can go over the top to Hanbury. He elects to kick it to the leading Sinclair, who's dropped another one. Regathered to Hanbury. Pokes it out in front of Papley, and he'll get there ahead of Plowman. He wants to get it into the corridor for an easier shot. Carlton clogging that area up. He tries to squeeze one to Kennedy, and there were 4 Blues there, and they take it away. Off the outside of Fisher's boot. Clean bowled Petreski-Seaton. Here's Newman, has to be clean, and is. Melican. Able to get it to Mills. He could have gone. He let Smets come onto the mark. Cunningham demanding it outside. Wouldn't think they're the team trailing in the last 30 seconds of the third quarter. Mills taking his time. Now Newman. And Heaney, who's been quiet in the last 20 minutes or so. Good-looking kick, though. Gives them a chance to attack it. Front and square, and unable to pick it up was Papley. Simpson, was that incorrect disposal? Swans fans cry for it. Hayward would have had a set shot from 30 out. Instead, that'll be the end of the third quarter, I fancy. No siren yet, but it will sound as soon as this ball goes up. Don't want to give away a sloppy free kick here. The Blues. And there goes that three-quarter time siren. It's set up beautifully, isn't it? The Swans looking for their first win of the season, but they trail by 9 points heading into the final term.
Only in 13th spot. Sydney not having been in this position since 1993. Can they come back and break through for their first win of the year? A big final quarter coming up. Reid up against Cruiser. Pushed by the latter, and then he goes in for it. So too does Reid as he tried to paddle it out with his right hand. Gibbs almost handed that to a teammate. Now Cruiser tumbling a wobbly punt down towards the half-forward line. First goal absolutely vital. Curnow onto the left boot. Not a lot of distance, but plenty of height. Mills got a fist to it. Pushed towards the boundary line. Grundy lumbers after it, and the ball spins over the line. Carlton players asking the question. Negative, says the umpire.
Interesting too, Sandy, that Reid started in the ruck with Sinclair forward. So obviously John Longmire feels Sinclair's more likely to kick a goal at the moment.
Yeah, well, he had a couple of opportunities, didn't he, in the third term. We'll see what transpires now. Buddy's locking this one up. Five goals to 2 in that third term. Carlton's way. Never discount Sydney. Reid through heavy traffic to Jones. Had it, regained it, and now tumbles a punt up towards the 50. Papley's giving away plenty of height. Hanbury, clever hand pass for Jack. If it sits, he's in business. It does sit. He's not in business yet. He's not in business. Claim. Ripping tackle. And Carlton come away.
Alex Salvani, the hero.
What a day. What a day has Alex had. Copped one before the bounce from Buddy. Said you're going to have a rotten afternoon. And Alex has said, well, try this on. Carlton go forward once again through Fisher. Now Gibbs. Centering ball for Bryce Gibbs. Cruiser lumbers after it. He needs assistance. Came from Billy Smets, but he couldn't get there in time. Newman is there for Sydney. Grimly defending. Finds 45 metres down towards the wing. Kept in by guess who? Doherty. Knocked up, getting kicks today. Carlton surging forward once again. In towards the pocket and pushed over the line. Deliberate, said the umpire.
Here's a big opportunity for this guy today, Brandon Jack, and that little fumble cost him.
It killed him, didn't it? I'll tell you what, Silvani's seriously quick, isn't he? I didn't realise, John, how quick he is.
That's right.
So Simpson sets it up for Casbolt to attack, and the man in front trips. Big, strong mark for the man in game number 50. This young superstar of the Carlton Football Club with a chance to extend their lead from almost directly in front.
That's a seriously good mark, isn't it?
Stands at 195 centimetres, so if he gets this part of his game right, he's going to be good. He needs to get the second part right as well, Ruzi. Just kicking it through the big sticks, because one through from this point, any ground around Australia.
His first shot of the afternoon. He's got this one home. Patrick Cripps with an inspirational goal in his milestone game.
Yeah, that's the old... you can see Silvani. I was just saying, I didn't realise actually how quick Silvani was. I mean, we all know how Buddy Franklin moves, and he gobbled him up there. I mean, it wasn't a super kick, but the ability to get to a contest today by Silvani has been absolutely fantastic. So it's been a significant in for him. You can see at the top left of the screen. Again, closing speed, nice boil, and he's really done that all day. Well done.
Carlton out to a 15-point lead. Cruiser again up against Reed. Cruiser wants Gibbs. Doesn't find him.
Ball pick. Back this way. Dominate for me. Dominate Sam. Sam. And who's dominate? Patrick and Sam. Coming back this way. Patrick and Sam. Patrick and Sam.
You can
Cripps
see
in the ruck.
Cripps in the
Play
ruck.
on.
Kerno out of the air. Gains valuable meterage. Mills comes over the top, runs into Parker. Kennedy there as well. An attempted soccer off the ground by Kerno. Doesn't go very far. Graham wanted it, didn't get it. It was an attempt to get it to him, but in so doing, Kerno threw it.
Look. Right out behind.
Grundy
Look, I'll take it over here.
feeling
Look,
the pinch.
Look, that's it. Stay still.
As Zach Jones is away for Sydney.
Buddy providing the shepherd, running alongside, and Jones can take a second bounce. He wants teammates to make their move, and Sinclair does out the back. He wants one over the top. Brought down in front. Sinclair will latch onto this. Well, he was a little too slow trying to wind up, and Silvani got there again. Playing his first game for the club he supported as a boy after all that time with the Freo Dockers, and he's loving life on the G.
He gets back quick again, Silvani there. Twice. He gets back to that marking contest and he gets down to the ground ball.
Sinclair wins it down. Hanbury there again, trying to turn away from his man. Hooks it back with discipline, top of the square. Great mark, Silvani.
Might be just having the game of his life here, I think, guys. This has been an unbelievable performance from Alex
supporters watching
Silvani.
it going, what did we do? And now Brendan Bolton's going, why didn't we play him earlier in the year?
He only just worked his way back into the Dockers team for the last 5 rounds last season. Had to wait for his first game with the Blues. Until now, round 6. Wright gets there. Good clean pickup. He's a clean player. Back to Marchbank. Now Cripps kicked the last goal. Now playing off half back. This guy's been outstanding since half time. Ed Kerno goes all the way back. Fans don't really appreciate that too often. Risky kick, but Plowman got there, and Doherty so confident in his foot skills, and there's a 50-metre penalty here.
Happily again, 2 today.
1 metre inside the square.
How far is the umpire going to take him? Maybe 45. I think Plowman was thinking he might get a shot on the end of that. Then he chips it to Wiedering, who is out there with that same strapping. Might be able to go the journey, you wouldn't think. Is the time for the barrel, Jono?
Oh, I'd like to see it. I really would.
This is barrel time.
This
I don't
is,
mind that.
Yeah, right here. This distance out here.
Yeah.
Off a lame left leg. How's it
I
going
don't know if
to
he's got, don't know if he's got
Yeah.
power in that
Doesn't
plant
matter.
leg, guys.
Shaping for the drop punt. Wiedering.
Oh,
And
did
it was
fall
awkward.
away.
They get there by the hands of Cruiser. And he's going to kick it from directly in front.
You can't touch his toes. I know how he feels, to be honest
Well,
with
we
you.
talked about did Wiedering have the distance. We said that plant leg was always going to be his trouble. You could see him collapse under the weight, but what a great mark from the big man Cruz. And God, the crowd love him down here.
You know when he's got his mitts on it, don't you? When the crowd just sounds like they're booing, but they're paying homage to this man who got the 3 Brownlow votes last time the Blues beat the Swans. That was 2011. They're going to look good things here. If he steers this one home, they lead by 21.
Yeah, you love it when the ruckman pushes forward. It really put pressure. He's Wiedering, and you see the left leg just collapses. And as the ball comes forward, I think it's Nick Newman that got caught on Cruiser. So there's the danger. You got Casbolt up there, you got Cruiser up there, and you get a mismatch, and really you get a no contest. It's almost an uncontested mark by Cruiser. So well done, pushing forward, helping Wiedering out and kicking a crucial goal for the Blues.
Let's quickly go down to the boundary, Moons.
Yeah, Sandy, we just got a quick little update here from the club. Just reads out, Gary is awake and talking and has full range of movement, but is having scans as a precaution. We'll update further post-match, but looks like he's okay, which is a huge relief.
Great news. Great news. Cripps and Murphy trying to send Carlton into attack. It's being repelled as we speak. It's wide on the wing at the moment. There's the man of the moment once again. Silvani. Oh, he loses it this time to Jack. Goes with the left foot high. In towards half forward. Well done and fisted down by Fisher. Not out of the danger zone yet. Sydney desperate for the next goal. Pushing clear. Carlton do really well. Petrevski-Seaton gets the hand pass away. An opportunity now for Fisher again. They're inside 50 Carlton. Which way is it going to bounce? Gibbs is there. He's got to beat a couple. Can't do so. And the steadying influence of Jones will see the ball come back towards centre wing. And the kick had to be good for Newman. Curnow steals it. Carlton back into attack once again. Kick's going to be any better this time for Wiedering. He lumbers after it. He's running okay. He's got a problem now.
It's a great kick.
Tried it. Well, it is because I didn't see that other player there. He might get a goal. They're going to. Curnow, Charlie Curnow has done it for the Blues.
Yeah, Wiedering knew exactly what he was doing there, Sandy. He took his time, thought the dribble kick was going to come out. He could see a Sydney player in the goal square, identified that if he just split the middle, he had Wright all by himself to be able to set up the handball to Curnow. We watch here, he takes his time. He's having a good look. He sees him there, bends it back, brilliant kick. And Wright was able to show composure, step around. Great team goal by the Blues.
It's an amazing check side, isn't it?
Yeah.
A really smart
Amazing.
play. He summed it up absolutely beautifully, didn't he? And really poor tackle there from Laidler, though.
There you get footy smarts with a pick one, and they've got that in spades with Wiedering, who's out there on one leg and doing enough. And another free kick. That time Sinclair pinned. Graham just chipping it. And good contest made by Laidler. Just got the handball away in the nick of time. Smith left it behind. Good pressure from Carlton. They sense 4 points.
All the young players jumping on board at the moment. Fisher, Williamson's been very good. Petrevski-Seaton getting up off the bottom of the pack. Charlie Curnow.
Casbolt v Sinclair. Brought down by the Swans ruckman. But again, Carlton hitting the pack hard. Trying to burst out of there. Cunningham holds on. This will do for Carlton right now.
Murphy just got hammered without the ball there. He got body slammed without, didn't even have the football.
They go at it again. And Sinclair gets the hand to it out the back. Petrevski-Seaton tried to chip it. Came off the outside of the boot. Plowman goes in. Good gather at ground level from Doherty. Out the back from Rowe. And Simpson spots a man. Marchbank in space. Former GWS giant, he and Plowman, both part of that back six today against the Swans. Doherty, yet another kick for him. 24 of them today. And Cripps ignored the lead of Graham to pick up the youngster, Petrevski-Seaton. They wanted him to go down the corridor for Simpson, perhaps. He finds Gibbs all alone on centre wing. They can afford to be slow and methodical right now. Trying to close this one out. We're a long way from home. 4.5 goals the margin. Where are the Swans going to find that point scoring at the moment? One for Casbolt to rise for. No contest. He couldn't make it stick that time. They want holding the ball. The Blues fans, they're going to get it.
Took them on.
Yeah, that's fair free kick. He tried to fend off. You ask where the Swans are going to get their goals from. You just can't see it because Buddy's basically playing between the arcs as an extra midfielder. So the only way I can see them doing it is if Buddy gets back inside forward 50.
Blood rule, so there'll be a moment as Luke Parker comes from the ground. I think Carlton only needs one more goal and we can start talking about a match next week. Carlton v Collingwood. Going into a slight breeze, so backpedaling. Here's White to Doherty. To possession number, disposal number 35. Speaking of 35, there's Curnow.
That'll make Spud's numbers.
Bit of numerology there, Sandy.
Just for you, Moons. Buddy and Gibbs over the line, throwing in the right forward pocket.
Just quickly down here as well, guys, is with Carlton. Billy Smets on the bike at the moment with a right quad strapped heavily, rolled his ankle and then got hit on the quad as well. So he's just doing some laps trying to keep warm.
Cruiser and Sinclair again. Kennedy has tried his heart out as always. Rowe from the back gets an effective spoil on Hayward, but Hayward was the first to recover. Well done by the young man. A quieter game by him today. Newman goes in towards the middle. Now an opportunity for Sydney to look towards Rose. Beaten for numbers here, but not talent. Did really well, the young man. Dribbles a kick in towards goal and it spins away to the right and through for one behind.
Once again, Sandy, you can't speak highly enough of Doherty and Simpson. They work so hard back, and every time Swans have broken through the middle, they've looked up and they've seen a Doherty or Simpson there, and it just hasn't been an easy entry for them.
Classy kick out from Williamson. Finds Plowman in the long sleeves. The other giant, and Casbolt on a long searching lead. And the kick right where he wanted it. Great performance from Casbolt today. A real presence. The Swans have known he's around. 2 goals, 2 for the big man. And he gives it for Cruiser to attack. Reid wins that contest on centre wing. Midway through the final quarter. Headaches for John Longmire. No one saw this. 0-6 on the horizon for the Swans. First game at the G since last year's grand final. And they're bottom of the ladder. And no way off and out of the cellar right now, it appears. Jack gets in there. Heaney at ground level. Again, not a great kick in, but it worked out just fine for Hayward. He's shown his ability to finish. He'll be able to kick from about 49. He's not mucking around either. He knows the clock is against his team. He goes back and kicks it beautifully. Hayward gives the Swans a sniff.
Plenty to like with Hayward, gents. I think he's got, you know, just a bright upside. We've seen plenty so far in the games that he has played this year, and he's got genuine speed. He's excellent overhead as well, and capitalised there and understood the moment of the game, needing to get back, get things on. 20 points down with 9.5 to go. So not out of it yet, the Sydney Swans.
And there was an article written on Hayward today about the recruiter, Kinnear Beatson, who kept him honest. He says he's not fit enough, so he hired a personal trainer to get ready for the draft and worked his way into the Swans starting team.
And now has 2 goals to his name, Brendan, as we go back in the middle. Sydney need the next one. Carlton would love the next one. Cripps couldn't handle it. Williamson pokes it wide. Buddy applying plenty of pressure. Blues are away. Excellent play. Simpson up towards the half-forward line. In trouble was Mills. A cry of ball goes up. Cunningham goes to ground. Carlton free kick.
That was unbelievable play by Simpson through the middle of the ground. Just in traffic, got out of traffic, was going to handball, didn't handball, ran with the ball, kicked it. It was just fantastic play by Simpson.
What about Billy Smetto? He hasn't been that good in front of goal today.
Oh.
And now he's limping. He's got the big corky. He's won the free kick.
It's like beware the injured golfer, John.
Yes, that's it.
He might just kick it. He's directly in front. They're the walking wounded, both of these sides. A stuttering approach. A stuttering approach, but he gets the goal. The quick answer comes from Billy Smets.
Brendan Bolton will be happy with their forwards today, though, Roosie, because more so, yes, they've done well in an attacking nature, but defensively, You know, they've been excellent, +5 in forward half tackles, +17 in contested possession in that area, so locking it in. We've seen some poor tackles, but overall, they've been quite competitive in this area, which has put them in this position.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing some real glimpses of their talent down there and their speed. Their ability to get across and hunt the football's been good in their forward 50.
And they've shared it around. 10 individual goal kickers for the Blues.
And they got around him as well. His first goal for the club, Billy Smets, the former Cat. A very handy one. 8 minutes to go in the final term. Cruiser gets down low. That's palmed out by the Swans, though, and Hewitt hooks it upfield. Hapley trying to get there. Out the back goes Plowman, and Doherty, left foot up and under, allowed Marchbank to attack it. Williamson off hands, and Hanbury collides with Plowman. Hapley found a bit of space. He asked for a runner to come towards him. Just a scrubby old kick in towards Rose. Doherty with hands, and out of there by Rowe. They've defended really well as a group today. The Blues, Rowe and Silvani, who's been the headline act. Good contest, Simpson against Parker there. Not easy to get the better of Parker inside forward 50. He did on that occasion. Swans need a goal again. Where's Buddy? He's attacking this one. And improvised. Parker! Sockers it out of mid-air. A miracle goal from the Swans. And they're still alive.
Gee whiz.
Where'd that come from, Ruzi?
I'm not sure. I'd need to look at that again. Here it is, the stoppage. Who's on Luke Parker? He's on the side there. Just nudge underneath. Oh, well, there's not much you can do about that. No. That's just one you go, tip your hat, Sandy, and say, well, I reckon that's probably a little bit too good for me.
Sometimes you just close your eyes, throw your boot at it, and anything can happen.
Wow. It's critical goal, though, wasn't it?
Yep.
So a really interesting situation. Luke Parker jags his first. 20 points and 7 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time. Murphy gave it to Cruiser, who tries to get it to Cripps. Had it and then lost it, but not before he tried to paddle it forward. Hewitt for a moment. Parker again gives the hand pass away. Heaney now through the middle, spears the pass. Here he comes again, Silvani, being Alex, who's had a wonderful time in defence today. Locked up at half forward for Sydney. Hanbury gets it out with a swift hand pass. Not clear though. Williamson, well done. Poked it wide to accommodate Gibbs, who'll give it to Simpson. Wants to get back onto his left foot, and he does so now. Back to White.
Hold.
And that umpire could well have been talking to the entire Carlton team there. Hold.
Play on.
White's away. Plenty of distance going up towards Casbolt territory. He was there, but out position. And so a stoppage on the outer wing.
Good work. They're into Mills again, into his ear there all day.
Been a target, hasn't he?
Matty Wright has been in his back pocket, and he's been physical, and they've been just trying to get into his head at times.
Well, they've done a good job, John.
Yeah,
14 disposals.
Holding the ball. Clear out.
So it's going against Carlton there for holding it too long. Sydney desperately try to regain this ball, but they haven't got it at the moment. Simpson's with it. To the outer side he goes. The juggling mark not taken by Mills.
And again.
And pushed over the line. Just has his nose rubbed in it once more for the afternoon.
Convincing winner of the Rising Star last year, but they're letting him know about it this afternoon.
Cruiser.
High tackle.
It's high. So Sydney again.
The problem they've got down back too now, Sandy, is Heath Grundy's off, so they've got a very young back line for Sydney.
Murphy short to Graham. Back to Gibbs. Quite content with 5.5 minutes remaining, just to shovel it around, share it around. That's what they continue to do. The margin is 20 points. You can guess who's got it. Cruiser can put this game beyond doubt with a goal here.
Gotta love that, don't you? The fact that the crowd pick it up early and identify that Matty Cruiser is in best position to take the mark.
He's only got to be in the vicinity, Jono. They love him.
For him as well, though, he'd know, I must be clear here. This is...
Telepathy. But a big, big kick. An angle that's not too severe and a distance that's eminently gettable. From 42 metres, the sealer. And he gets it. Cruiser gets his second. Carlton are home.
He got a great block from Curnow too. He pushed forward, and as I said before, I love Cruiser pushing forward, put some pressure on. Got a great block. And there's the Swans coaching group now. They're in serious trouble at 0-6, and there's their next 4 games: Lions, North Melbourne, St Kilda, Hawthorn, and then the bye. Rampy's on the back right there with the arm brace on, and they've got some serious
win
problems.
those games, though.
Yeah, they could. Not based on today's form.
No.
Where do you think they're at, Bruising, the Swans?
Well, I think this was a really critical game for them. There's no question about it. I feel they are a team that can run the table. They can win, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. But you're really looking at the way they're playing at the moment is certainly not the standard. They're losing contested ball again to a young team, 134, 128. Normally they're relentless in tackles. They're getting beaten in tackles as well. So they're just not playing great football, and that's taking nothing away from Carlton, who have been terrific.
Most will write them off and say they can't make the finals 0-6, but you're still giving them that chance.
Look, they have shown they're a fighting team. They will keep battling away, but you're going to have to win. What have we got? 16 games to go. You're going to have to win
13 of 16.
Minimum 12, I was going to say, so probably 13 of 16.
Coming with a poor percentage as well from that position. That's what makes it more difficult.
That's probably 13, Jono, you're right. You're probably 13 because of their percentage.
Simpson. What a second half he has had. Only Doherty's had more possessions than Simpson, who gets another one out the back from Cripps and picks up Murphy. And going into today, when we saw Tippett as a late out, Naismith injured currently, we thought Cruiser might be able to dominate, and he's got on the scoreboard as well late.
Yeah, his second half, Cruiser's been really good. I think he's had 8 possessions and 2 goals in the second half. And we saw Rampy too, boy. Rampy's a really important player, because what we've seen with Doherty and Simpson, 38 possessions and 30 possessions, but they're experienced down there, they're organised. Rampy's an organiser and gets that back 6 really well organised.
The chains in the SCG, outside the SCG, where the players go for their run, got him.
I ran into him last week. I was up in Sydney doing the game, and I ran into to Dane Rampy, you can see in the back corner, and I know where those chains are, and I know exactly what happened. So when your luck's out in footy, it's out.
How many metres did he have to go?
Not very far.
He wouldn't win the hurdles.
I said, gee, you wouldn't want to spoken to John Longmire after you broke your arm on the... It's just one of those freak things, really.
Here's Buddy.
All Australian from last year.
Yeah,
massive.
Big out. It's a big out.
Papley into the pocket. And the mark taken by Callum Sinclair. Kicked a goal in the third quarter. Had a couple of opportunities for more.
Thanks, Callum.
But with 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining, Carlton are going to score their second win of the season. Sinclair. Slow, steady, deliberate approach to the far side for one behind.
I think the other thing on Carlton, it just shows you can't always play the kids. We spoke about before the game, Jono, about bringing experienced players in. But the only way you can teach your kids is having a balance of experienced players. This notion of, oh, keep playing them, it actually doesn't work. You bring in Silvani, Curnow's been terrific today. Graham comes in, Smets comes in, and I think that's the challenge for Brendan Bolton on screen, is just to make sure he gets that mix right.
Because the younger blokes, as we've seen, jump on board. So we've seen Patricia Seaton and Curnow and these younger guys jump on board of what the senior guys have done with today's game.
There was 7 teenagers last week. They scaled it back to 5 tonight, and they've got the result.
They're going to get the result. Playing inspired football in this second half particularly. Cripps couldn't take it. Zach Jones can for Sydney. Pumps it over the head of Hanbury. Now, Papley's got a free kick. He's 47 metres from goal. And Tommy, you put it out of bounds on the full.
He's got to nail that. He's had a couple of snapshots today that you think he'd put through as well. So, be disappointed with his game, Tommy Papley.
He's had 15 disposals today. The last 2 weeks he's been averaging 7, so
double that. But he's had
improvement.
4 shots at goal for 1 goal, 2 and 1 out of bounds on the full.
Not a good return, Jono. That's for sure. To the outer side, Reed led in one direction, Graham the other. They meet and lock it up. As we have a look at Carlton's weeks to come, of course, the big one, Collingwood. Well, that could draw 85,000 here next week at the MCG. Then St Kilda, no easy job. Then Fremantle. So 3 tough games, but they're all tough nowadays, let's face it.
I think too, Sandy, it's just those wins along the way. This is an important win for them. Yeah, who knows how many games they're going to win, but they've got young players, they've got balance, and you get a little win along the way that keeps the club up, keeps the club happy. I think the 4 games, whilst they're relevant, it's more relevant about celebrating this win and keeping this group up really positive.
Just thinking of it as a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Inside 50 for Sydney, but perhaps only momentarily. Wiedering again can hardly walk. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes up, and if he comes up for next week against the battle with Collingwood. Sam Rowe, advantage paid, so Rowe goes to Simpson. Can go over the top to Cripps if he likes. He does.
I think also, Sandy, I mean, the Swans have blooded, to their credit, they've blooded a lot of young players, even their grand final year last year. What we're perhaps seeing is a bit of a dip. I mean, Mills is having a tough season so far. Papley's been injured, you've talked about, and they've still got a lot of young players on the field today.
No doubt about that. Sinclair gives the hand pass away. Inside 50 once again. Well done by Simpson, but stolen, and this time he doesn't show a lot of emotion, Tommy Papley, because he knows the scoreboard all too well. He gets the goal.
Well, he got that one, yeah, which is good play from Tom Papley. I remember we spoke to John Longmire pre-game, North Melbourne, I mean, against the Bulldogs at Etihad Stadium. We spoke about that weeks ago, about how young they are, and it's certainly not an out for John Longmire, but I think he understands, and the club would understand where they are at. 0-6, yeah, no, not good enough, but the fact of the matter is they are a changing side, an evolving side once again.
Well, what a day for Doherty. He's had 39 touches today. He leads the ranking points. Final seconds in this amazing result that's going to send shockwaves around the COP. Carlton building for the future, playing so many young kids. They've upstaged the Swans here at the G. First meeting between these teams at this venue since the mid-80s. Carlton fans have waited a long time to see a win against the Swans at this venue, and that's a live ladder. They'll be 13th. The Swannies will be in the cellar. Hanbury gets it to Newman. Right through the middle goes Cunningham, looking for one more consolation goal. Would have been fitting if Silvani took the mark and finished with it. Carlton get it out of defensive 50, and Casbolt does. The future is bright for the Blues. They upset the Swans. What a dream debut for Alex Silvani in Carlton colours. The club he supported as a boy. Charlie Curnow had some big moments today. The Blues are 2-4. It's looking bleak for the Swannies though. Bottom of the ladder, 0-6.
Yeah, great. Look, great effort by Carlton. Look, they got belted last week, Jono, and to come back today. And we talked about their ins. Silvani was absolutely fantastic. Some of their senior players, Doherty, best and first win of last year. Simpson, terrific, Sandy.
Indeed, a wonderful win for the club. I'm sure Patrick Cripps will be delighted with it, Moons.